It is Wednesday. It's time for Mike on the Money with Mike Giordano with Williams Wealth Management. We've been chatting it up going into this because we're all looking at retirement money that we've all been saving. Social Security is our money. So the big question is, how can we make the most of it? Mike, why are people even more concerned about the future of Social Security right now? It's always a political football.
Oh, it is a political football, and people have been freaked out that we're going to run out of Social Security money for, as long as I've been alive, pretty much. I don't remember those years.
As long as you've been voting.
Yes. But yeah, so it's always been a big issue. Right now, you got just a lot of noise coming out of Washington, right? All kinds of different cuts to different departments, Social Security Administration, stuff like this. You hear things about, Medicaid cuts, and then people start extrapolating Medicare, Social Security, they lump it all together.
Yeah.
And so there's just, a little consternation people are feeling, and that's making them uneasy as to whether they should start taking benefits now or not.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because according to the Social Security Administration, more people are filing for benefits before their full retirement age. Okay, so tell us the pros and cons, and also what is full retirement age? It's different for different ages.
It is. If you were born after 1960, it's 67 years of age. Before that, it's a sliding scale between 66 and 67. But yeah, more people are filing. Generally, it's about a 3% increase every year. You get 3% more people because they're starting to get into those years. But this year, they're expecting 15% more people to file for Social Security benefits, and that's because people are filing earlier. The pros and cons are, of course, if you file at 62, the youngest you can file, you're going to get more checks. Right, so you maximize the number of checks you get. The problem is that you reduce the size of those checks permanently throughout the rest of your life.
Yeah, so let's dive a little deeper. What are the factors that we all need to consider, and I'm right there, in deciding when to start taking those Social Security benefits?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. People think that Social Security is cut and dried, real simple to understand, but it depends on your situation. It depends on whether both people were working, one spouse is working. So it depends on health. Right there you showed health and life expectancy. If you don't expect to live very long, then it might make sense to take your benefits earlier. You have to think about, were you significantly out earning your spouse, because then your spouse is going to make money off of your money, right? They're going to get their check based off of yours. So the higher your check is, potentially they could get a higher check. So if you take it too early, their benefits will be reduced as well. You have to think about tax considerations. If you have an inherited IRA, you're getting money in that way. You want to do some Roth conversions, you might have some taxable consequences there. And then you have to think about, what other monies do I have? If you got a lot of money in a 401k and pensions, and you don't really need that Social Security, it might make sense to wait until.
Yeah, it's all those factors. That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, we hear about this at age 80 being a magic number in the Social Security world. What does 80 have to do with anything? Yeah,
so it's give or take a few months off of 80, but basically, if you took your payments at 62, and versus somebody that took payments at 70, right? If you start taking payments at 62, you're already getting that money. The person waiting until 70 hasn't gotten anything until they hit 70, right? But because those larger checks will start coming at 70, they'll actually converge, and at about age 80, you'll have basically about the same amount of money, whether you took it at 62 or you took it at 70. Wow. So if you think you're going to live longer than 80, then you potentially could have more money by waiting until 70. So it's really a play on, it's like insurance on longevity. If you're going to live longer, you're going to get these bigger checks for a longer period of time. So it's certainly a factor.
So that's why it's good to know your family history. Mike Giordano,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Always fun to have Mike on the Money.